We are rolling.
Good morning. Welcome back to the conversation. This is Midlife Crisis Activities. This is our lifestyles and pop culture webcast. Our daily shout out to the world. I'm your host, Patrick Russell. And over there is my recovering producer, Veronica. Together, we're here to lend our voices to the noise from a multi-generational perspective to help explain everything that's right and wrong in this world. Well, I can't say happy Monday to you, seeing how you're recovering from being sick over the holidays. Wow. I wish DraftKings had a bet on whether or not you were going to catch a cold flying back to California, a.k.a. the hotbed of Omicron breakout. And we could have definitely made some money on that sure thing bet, Veronica. So she comes back Wednesday night not feeling so hot. And sure enough, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, she quarantined herself. Good for you. She refused to talk to me. She was locked up in the bedroom, had her mask on, even in the bedroom. And I had to drop off like a prisoner food next to the door. In fact, there was one night where I braved the elements. And you need to talk about it because this definitely comes into play with a husband and wife relationship. I believe it was Saturday night. I felt a little frisky. I'm not going to lie. I thought that she had broken through the worst of the fever and wouldn't mind a little playtime. So I even masked up just to kind of be mindful and sensitive to her feelings, masked up and attempted to climb on top of her at 2 o'clock in the morning?
You're so weird.
You startled, and then what did you do? Tell the people, what did you do? Did you accept it lovingly like you would have done in the past, or what happened?
I pushed you away, and I was...
You thought I was a burglar, didn't you? You think I was an intruder, masked up and everything.
The thing is that I went to sleep probably like at 12 noon, right? And then he comes like at 1:30 in the morning, wanting to be all, sexy and stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna get you fucking sick. And then I just remember like pushing him away with my legs, and then like within like a couple minutes he was gone, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was so mad because I was feeling sick.
So understand this, fellas. Be mindful. You want to make sure that you have the clearance, maybe even a doctor's note, before you try to attempt any intimacy as they are recovering from whatever flu or COVID-19, Omicron, possibly, that your significant other may be experiencing. And I was sensitive to that, so I rejectedly slunked away back to the couch where I spent most of my nights this weekend, haven't I? But, living out in the desert, it's so funny because getting tested is still kind of a cumbersome action, right? And the idea is that, well, do you need to be quarantined? Well, when you're living out in the desert in the fire line of building suburbia, you're already kind of self-quarantined. And because our business is now 100% online, we're prepared for this eventuality. So we're still rocking and rolling today. So from a younger generation's perspective, Veronica, whether it be this year's flu or Omicron, how bad was it? Your thoughts?
We talk about it, me going back to California to see my family because of the virus, right? We're still kind of, I didn't want to get sick in the middle of tax season. So I decided to go. Everyone at the house is vaccinated, including myself. So
for the record, I apologize to interrupt, but for the record, did your husband support or was hesitant about you going back to California, the hotbed of an epidemic outbreak?
Definitely, we're pushing back for me to go to California, but once we go into tax season, it takes me probably like 6 to 7 months to go back home. So in my heart, I wanted to see my family because I know it always takes forever to go back after during tax season. So it was like a mixed emotion between.
It was worth the risk.
I don't think it was worth it because I hate being sick and I can't handle any pain or stuff like that, but. To be honest, I don't think that it's Omicron or
You think it's the flu?
I think it's just the flu because whenever I get sick with flu, I always have the same symptoms. I didn't feel anything differently that will make me think that it was Omicron. So,
following protocols, we'll be home for the week. What can we do? We had to sacrifice a Sunday with our daughters. And that's just part of life now, trying to still live our lives, but making the sacrifices here and there.
I think we also have to understand that not because you get sick, like with the flu, it's the Omicron or something else that might come after, right? Because we get sometimes so scared about being sick with the virus that we're like, oh my gosh, I have coronavirus. And I'm not saying that I don't have that because I haven't got tested. but my body was able to recover within 3 to 4 days.
Classic symptoms, right? Soreness of the throat, some inflammation and fever, and the stuffiness. What concerned me, probably Friday night was the worst when you started complaining about your congestion.
Yeah.
And how it was so difficult for you to breathe. And of course, we've seen all those ICU stories where it is all about the respiratory being what's being affected the most. So that night, I kept a real close eye on you. I didn't really try any funny business that night because I was concerned about having to rush you maybe to the ER, but then it broke, right? And so, of course, we don't know if it's the flu or not. But even if it's the flu, it's a nasty one. So if your doctor recommends a flu vaccination and they have it ready for you, why not make use of science and take your doctor's advice? And that's really my final point. It's kind of a bad news, good news kind of thing. Bad news, you got sick and you really had to suffer, and I'm really sorry for that. Good news is that I was in the household the entire time, and I feel great. So,
and that's what I want to point out. How come you're older and you didn't get sick? Because we always assume that if Patrick is older than me, obviously he's going to be the first one to go or the first one to get sick. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I don't know. I think in this world, an argument can be made that only the
weak ones,
only the good ones die young, sweetheart. Only the good die young.
Well, I do feel better. I do feel that the past 2 days, I was just in bed, sleeping and taking a lot of water, drinking a lot of water, tea, medicine, and I feel good. I mean, my voice is a little harsh, but I'm okay.
Final note, we've both been fully vaccinated. Before the trip, we did make a concerted effort to get a booster. Unfortunately, the limited supply limitations is what we ran into, especially in our local area, aka the Walmart. So we're still waiting for the boosters. But I mean, like I said, we followed our doctor's orders instead of our political inclinations, guys.
And I'm sorry, I think this is very important. If you guys notice, a lot of people are getting sick with Omicron, and it's actually spreading faster than coronavirus. But there's more room in the hospitals because a lot of people are not going to the hospitals because they're able to recover within the next few days because they're vaccinated. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's a big one. If I wasn't vaccinated, probably if it is Omicron or something else, might have to go to the hospital, but I'm not going. So I don't want you to think that because I got sick, the vaccine doesn't work.
This was a loss. No, this was a win.
Worked. Yeah.
In this household, the vaccine, kept you from really having to go to the hospital and deal with severe effects of the sickness. And for me, so far, knock on wood, doing well. Guys, there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, but there definitely is your opinion. Please don't just subscribe to this channel, even though we will be doing this back and forth on a daily basis. But lend your voice to the show. It'll make it a whole lot more fun. Guys, it doesn't matter what comes your way today. It doesn't matter what obstacles or challenges that you may face. You just need to remember one thing. Give 'em hell. Have a wonderful 2022, everybody.